This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
It is Monday, June 2nd. Happy Veterans Awareness Month. Yes, that's what we're calling it now. It is Veterans Awareness Month. It's not good enough to just have a day for veterans. We're going to have a month, and why not June? We're done with Pride Month. No more Pride Month. Any company that's tweeting out the rainbow flag and saying, oh, we celebrate diversity. Any sports team that's sending that out, celebrating the accomplishments of our LGBTQS2 spirit community, you look like fools. All right, we're moving on. You don't have to do that anymore. The Trump administration has given you permission to just be done with DEI, be done with all the flags and the celebrating diversity. It's over. We've moved on. And now we're going to celebrate veterans every day for the month of June. So we'll see if it catches on. I hope it does, because I think most people are just sick of the celebrating. Why? Because of their sexuality, because they were born because of the way they were born. That's not something to celebrate. You accept it and you tolerate it and you move on. And you're done. We're done. And they certainly aren't lighting up the White House in the rainbow flag or inviting transgender Americans to strip naked on the White House lawn. That was the last guy. We're done with it. The new guy is not going to pander like that. But this is a wild day. This is just a wild time. I know I say that all the time, but man, it just gets crazier. If you haven't heard, they're setting Jews on fire in Colorado. Yes, that's a thing that happened yesterday in Boulder, Colorado, sanctuary city, Boulder. An illegal alien from Egypt, armed with a makeshift flamethrower and Molotov cocktails, attacked a group of elderly Jews who were walking for the hostages. They do it apparently every week. It's called Run for Their Lives. I think they don't run, they walk. And they do this and they implore Hamas to release the hostages. They do this so we will not forget that there are still 50-something hostages. We don't know how many are alive, how many are dead, being held in tunnels, tortured, starved by Hamas. Now, we see lots of people supporting Hamas, protesting in support of Hamas, screaming in support of Hamas. Apparently, that's not enough. Now we have illegal aliens in sanctuary cities setting elderly Jews on fire. One of the elderly Jews, an 88-year-old woman, who I believe is in critical condition, is a Holocaust survivor. That's where we are in this country right now, where one side has taken up arms. Not, in this case, not a gun. That was in D.C. last week. That's was the last Muslim fanatic who supports Palestine, who shot dead two innocent young people outside the museum, two embassy employees, just killed them, including a woman who I believe was 28 years old, who he shot in the back, and as she crawled away, emptied his gun into her back, screaming, "Free Palestine." And then he said he did it for Palestine. Just since New Year's. You remember what happened on New Year's? On New Year's Day, a Muslim fanatic drove a truck down Bourbon Street, killed 14 innocent people because the police chief and everybody in public safety in New Orleans is incompetent. He was allowed to drive down Bourbon Street and kill 14 innocent people, for Allah or Allahu Akbar, free Palestine. And then you had the firebombing of Josh Shapiro's home in Pennsylvania. They firebombed the governor's home because the governor happens to be Jewish. As I've said many times, there is a sickness in this country. There are people who aren't happy with a war 5,000 miles away. They don't like what Israel's doing in Gaza. So they blame people in this country who happen to be Jewish. They attack people based on their ethnicity because of a war they don't like. Like these people have something to do with the war. These people in Colorado were asking them to release the hostages, asking us to remember the hostages. And what was the response from this illegal alien from Egypt? To make a flamethrower, to make Molotov cocktails and attempt to burn these people alive. That was the response. That's what happened in America, in Colorado, in Sanctuary City, Boulder, yesterday. Here is Mohammed Sabri Solomon, 45 years old, shirtless, fat, doughy, with 2 Molotov cocktails, one in each hand, as they're tending to the victims who were burned. Some of them, we believe, are in critical condition. They are charging him with murder, even though we have no announcement, confirmation that anyone has died yet. I assume they think either somebody's already died or somebody is going to die. So he's murdering elderly. Their ages ran from 52 to 88. The 88-year-old is the Holocaust survivor. She survived the Holocaust, but may not survive a walk in support of hostages in Colorado. And what does the media do? To give you the whole report, they don't mention he's an illegal alien. George Stephanopoulos did a whole report this morning. No mention that the Biden administration granted him. He was originally a tourist visa, overstayed it. Then he applied for asylum, and it was granted. So he is he is here illegally, and he's so angry at the war that he's killing, we think, elderly Americans who just want the hostages released. There is a sickness, and it has been cultivated. It has been nurtured by the madness out of D.C. when we have people like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib saying free Palestine and calling Israel genocidal and war criminal and lying about innocent people being slaughtered by the Jews. You know, the Jews, everything's about the Jews now. So you have maniacs like this, and the guy who burned Shapiro's house, and the guy who murdered 2 embassy employees in cold blood, saying they did it for Palestine. Now he'll go away to prison, just like the guy Elias Gonzalez in DC will go away for life. So they thought it was worth giving up their lives to hurt, to kill innocent Jews in America. This is absolute madness we're living through. This guy was no good, obviously, just a vile human being. And we allowed him into the country, and we allowed him to stay in the country. And if there were ICE agents who showed up in Boulder and said, we're going to take him, if they, showed up last week before he did this, there are elected Democrats in Colorado. They put out a statement bragging about their sanctuary status. Boulder politicians, Boulder officials bragged about their sanctuary status and criticized ICE and the Trump administration for coming after illegal aliens. Well, they missed one. That guy who burned an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor, burned alive. He shouldn't be here. And he's here because elected Democrats are protecting him, are providing him sanctuary. It's happening in blue cities and blue states, and it's utter insanity. So here's what happened over the weekend. Here's what happened yesterday. Last night, ICE announced, Tom Homan, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, announced that they just completed their most successful operation yet in the 4 months plus of the Trump administration. It was in Sanctuary City, Boston, Sanctuary State, Massachusetts. It was called Operation Patriot, and it was wildly successful. Here's the news from Bill Malugin on Fox. He says, multiple sources confirm that ICE targeted Massachusetts and Boston in its largest operation yet, netting the arrests of 1,461 illegal aliens in Massachusetts and Greater Boston. 790 had criminal convictions or charges, while 277 had final orders of removal or deportation. The operation, dubbed Patriot, ran during the month of May, and it was launched in direct response to sanctuary policies in Massachusetts and Boston. Mnuchin is told that hundreds of the arrested targets had been released by sanctuary jurisdictions in Massachusetts where ICE detainers were ignored. You're thinking, good, bunch of 1,500 illegal aliens. As he points out, it includes an international murderer. This is the guy who's on the most wanted list in El Salvador, roaming free in Massachusetts for the last couple of years. 2 child rapists, one who was living next to a playground, 1 fentanyl trafficker, 1 adult rapist, and 1 child sexual assaulter. That's just a handful of the 1,500. So you would think this is a day to celebrate. It sure is, in my mind. They made Massachusetts considerably safer in the last month. They grabbed 1,500 bad guys and women, rapists, murderers, drug dealers. So what's the reaction in Massachusetts? Are we celebrating? Are we thanking the Trump administration for making our state safer, demonstrably safer? Of course not. They're criticizing ICE. They're coming after ICE and Trump and Holman for doing the job that they were elected to do. This is simply amazing. They're holding a press conference shortly, and they're going to detail the operation and how successful it was. At the same time, our governor, Maura Healey, who is a open borders fanatic, who wants these people in your community, who wants the murderer who's on El Salvador's most wanted list, she wants him here. She wants him free. She wants to protect him. In response to this incredibly good news about 1,500 illegals being removed, dangerous public safety threats, the governor comes out and demands information because one of the illegals was an 18-year-old man who happened to attend Milford High School. And there's a protest there today outside the high school because they're not happy that an illegal alien was removed from the school, from the town. Apparently his father was swept up and he was swept up with him. That's why we're keeping families together. And he's an adult male. If he's here illegally, he's got to go. That's what we voted for. That's what we want. And the governor, when she heard the news that murderers, rapists, drug dealers were removed from her state, comes out with this. I'm disturbed and outraged by reports that a Milford High School student was arrested by ICE on his way to volleyball practice. Oh, here we go. Yet again, local officials and law enforcement have been left in the dark with no heads up and no answers to their questions. I'm demanding that ICE provide immediate information about why he was arrested, where he is, and how his due process is being respected. My heart goes out to the Milford community. This is the governor. When she found out that they were grabbing murderers and rapists and drug dealers off the streets of her state, she's upset because one of those illegal aliens happens to go to high school. Well, I don't want illegal aliens in high schools that the taxpayers pay for. I'm going to bet lots of parents don't want illegal alien adult males in their kids' schools. This is a good thing. He's been removed. He'll be deported with his family. That makes the state safer. You pathetic. This is a public servant, and she's upset that illegal aliens are being removed, and her state is, and her citizens, her taxpayers, are being protected. That's her reaction to this incredible report, this incredibly good news. Well, check this out. While they're holding a press conference, while the ICE guys are holding a press conference to announce this, we're going to get to that guy. This is just breaking this morning. This is incredible. More news from Sanctuary State, Massachusetts. This is from our friend Jessica Machado, reporter. She says, another Massachusetts illegal alien has been charged with raping his own daughter. Lorenzo Lopez Alcario is charged with rape of a child with force, aggravated, victim tied, bound, and gagged. Sources say Alcario blindfolded his 8-year-old daughter and raped her. He allegedly recorded the rape, and the mother of the child found the video and turned him in. He's being arraigned in Marlborough District Court as we speak, right now, this morning. Another one of Maura Healey's illegal aliens who came here for protection, for sanctuary, who got all the benefits, got a hotel room, got $64 a day for food, Uber rides, medical care, translators, lawyers, culturally sensitive meals. And this is what he did to his 8-year-old daughter, allegedly. You think the Boston Globe will be covering this? Think it'll be top of the fold, featured on their website. This is what happens. Sanctuary cities provide sanctuary for criminals. That's why they came here. And I can't even look at this. I can't even read this. This is what every elected Democrat, not just the mayor of Boston, not just the governor, every single elected Democrat, every congressperson, both senators, every local senator, every local rep who's a Democrat supports this, supports providing sanctuary for monsters like this. Sanctuary is not for, it sounds cute. Oh, sanctuary, where's sanctuary? That's why people like this come here. That's why they flock here. You think it's for the nice weather, the food? Yeah, it is for the food, the free food. They come here because they know Democrats will do everything in their power to protect them. And these people, the 1,500 that were grabbed in May, this guy who blindfolded and raped his daughter, he would still be free if Kamala Harris had somehow won. If Trump had lost on November, this would still be a place dedicated to protecting illegal alien like this man. He's not the first illegal alien to be charged in this state with raping his own daughter. This is who we let in. This is amazing. And you know what? The people who wanted them here, people like Ayanna Pressley and Liz Warren who wanted this guy here, they're upset that 59 white South Africans who are coming here to work, who waved American flags and said they love this country, they're upset that they are being given sanctuary, being given asylum. Not this guy. No, not this guy. We don't even know where this guy's from yet. But we got the documents in court. Amazing. It is. I'm looking at the police report right now. Truly amazing. I can't even read this. Oh, his own daughter, Lorenzo Alcario Lopez, rape of a child with force. That's what happens in sanctuary states. That is what happens. That's what happened in more than once in this state. And you know what the governor's going to do today? She's going to cry about some 18-year-old man who got grabbed by ICE and removed because he was on his way to volleyball practice. All right, let's get to that punk. This is Massachusetts. This is how it works in Massachusetts. As we reported the other day, Bill Malugin on Fox said that there was interference in their operation in Boston the other day. It turns out it was Somerville, where they were surveilling a murderer. They were getting ready to grab a murderer who was living happily here in Somerville, Massachusetts, when some locals, some agitators, noticed, somehow identified ICE and let the guy know, or let everyone know, that ICE was planning to make this arrest. And they ruined the cover, spoiled the operation, and allowed the murderer, a murderer, to remain free. And then they bragged about it openly. By the way, this guy is lying. As Bill Malugin points out, he is lying. There was no operation to go into the school, to go into high school. They had a murderer surveilled, I believe, his apartment, and they were going to grab him until scumbags like this tipped them off. Check this out.
ICE just tried to abduct a bunch of kids and parents right here at Somerville High School, and so many community members showed up that ICE just left. Remember, you are the major power in your community. If you show up with people you trust quickly, you can protect kids, you can protect families. So form information networks, know where ICE is in your community, and show up. They will just leave. They are not fucking brave enough to steal kids when an entire community comes around to protect them. So show up for the kids in your community.
That's obviously untrue. That is not what happened. As Mnuchin points out, they didn't arrest a bunch of kids. They didn't go to a school. This is an amazing, illuminating moment. There's Mnuchin's tweet. He says, that is a blatant lie from anti-ICE activists. ICE says they were surveilling a murder suspect near a school when a crowd surrounded them and blew their cover. Somerville School District released a statement confirming ICE never stepped foot on campus. First of all, I don't care if they step foot on campus. If you have a criminal on a campus or a criminal in a school or a criminal in a church, of course ICE should be able to get them, just like every other law enforcement agency. I mean, if there's someone in there that committed assault or stole a car or whatever, dealt drugs, are they supposed to not go arrest him because he's in a school or a church? Of course they should be allowed to do that, but that's not the point. The point is here, they were able to arrest 1,500 illegal aliens despite no cooperation, zero from local authorities, from the state or the local level, the cops, the courts. They get no cooperation. So they had to work overtime. They had to devote many more man hours, and they did it anyway. They did what Holman promised. He said he's coming to Boston and hell's coming with him. And now every elected Democrat is whining and complaining and protesting because the federal government removed criminals. Try to get your mind around that. They didn't want the murderer, the rapists. They didn't want them removed from your community, and yet people will vote for them. They will vote for Maura Healey again. They'll vote for Mayor Wu again, even though they support criminals, not just petty criminals, murderers and drug dealers and rapists. Why? Why do Democrats want these people in their communities? Why? You think the people of Boulder are happy that they provided sanctuary to Mohammed Solomon, 45-year-old Muslim fanatic who, by the way, the local people in Colorado, the local cops, the local officials are just as bad as the ones in Massachusetts. The cop comes out after the arrest and says, we don't know the motive. It's too early in the investigation to know the motive. Dan Bongino and Kash Patel said it's terrorism. Of course it's terrorism. He lit Jewish people on fire and screamed, Palestine will be free. And the local cop says, we don't know the motive. What is wrong with these people? Why can't you just be honest? Why are you still protecting a guy who set a Holocaust survivor on fire? This person survived the Holocaust, but may not survive. Check on this for me, Ironhead. If we get an update, I have a feeling these people, these victims are not all going to make it, unfortunately. And man, wouldn't that be something if a 88-year-old was murdered by this Muslim fanatic who was let in the country by Joe Biden and protected by Jared Polis and everyone in Colorado, protected, given sanctuary, given given everything, given everything. And this is how he responds. I think it's time for everyone in the media, everyone in politics to say, stop with the genocide talk. Stop talking about a genocide. It's not a genocide in Gaza. You might not like the way Israel is prosecuting the war, but they're not committing genocide. October 7th happened. It's October 7th is the reason we have war in Gaza. It's the reason. Israel is fighting back. Israel was attacked. Israel didn't start this war. They are still holding hostages. And these poor people in Boulder were just pointing that out. They just wanted everyone to know that they haven't forgotten the hostages in Gaza. And they walked around and they said, bring the hostages home. And this monster made Molotov cocktails and a makeshift flamethrower. And it's not going to end with him. Hell, it's only less than 2 weeks ago that those two innocent people got murdered outside the museum, the embassy employees, these beautiful young couple were gunned down by a guy saying free Palestine. And before that was something else. And before that was something else. And Josh Shapiro and New Year's Eve, every day there's somebody plotting to attack Jewish Americans because of a war that they have no control over. Hell, these people, they're just like the people in the kibbutzes. They're peaceniks. They want peace. They want the hostages home. They're not calling for the destruction of Gaza or the killing all the Palestinians. They're calling for peace. And how do the Muslim fanatics respond? By setting them ablaze. Sick.
This morning, there's 8 victims. There's no reported deaths yet, but the ages range from 52 to 88. Yes. And one was a Holocaust survivor, an 88-year-old.
I have a feeling they're not all going to make it because, as I said, he's facing a long list of charges, including first-degree murder. And is it okay if we deport him? You think? Would it be okay? Ilhan Omar and Ayanna Pressley and George Stephanopoulos, would be okay if we deport this guy now and he spends his life in an Egyptian prison? Would that be okay with you? Or would that be cruel? These Trump's policies, Tom Homan, cruel. It is just, we are living through some pretty crazy, sick, twisted times in this country. Speaking of sick and twisted, we're going to get to Tim Walz, who is running for president. There's no longer any doubt about it. Tim Walz is already out there on the campaign trail. And we have an update on the guy, the boy who was competing in track in California. We told you about him last week. He kicked ass. Shocking, I know, but we'll hear from his mother, who's so proud to watch her son beat girls, just abuse girls in track and field. It's just insane. But we'll get to that and more. But first,
Excuse me.
Life is full of surprises. Some wonderful, some not so much. But here's one thing you can control: making sure your loved ones are protected if the unexpected happens. At EasyPlans.com, we make getting life insurance, well, easy. In just a few minutes, you can apply online and buy direct. No awkward phone calls, no confusing jargon, and no agent will contact you unless you request help. Just clear, affordable coverage, designed to fit your life and your budget. Fast approval, flexible plans, and unlike other online insurance sites, Easy Plans won't sell your information to others. So no endless phone calls and text messages. Whether you're just starting a family, buying a home, or thinking ahead, EasyPlans.com has you covered. EasyPlans.com. We make buying life insurance, well, easy.
Well, we're waiting for an update, but there it is. Mohammed Solomon charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He's 1 count of attempted murder, 1 count of first-degree assault, another using explosive incendiary devices, said the Boulder County Sheriff. So they're charging him with 2 counts of first-degree murder, but not announcing the death of any of the victims. So we're waiting. Well, that's strange. Don't see that very often, but I'm going to assume they're either 2 dead victims or they're barely clinging to life. But strange that you would charge them with first-degree murder. And they're wondering what his motive may be. What is his motive? Gee, I don't know. He just yelled, "Palestine will be free." I can't imagine. And targeted Jewish people gathered on a Sunday afternoon. Can't imagine his motive. Maybe we'll never know. Maybe it's a mystery that will never be solved. All right, let's do A.B. Hernandez. Speaking of mysteries that'll never be solved, how did this kid manage to kick ass in track and field in California, our biggest state, I assume our most competitive state for track athletes? A.B., as we told you last week, made it to the finals, and over the weekend, A.B. won the high jump and the triple jump, finished first, won the state championship in the high jump and the triple jump. If you've seen video, I mean, he's an athlete. He can jump, he can run, he can, he won 2 state titles and finished second in the long jump, by the way. He lost. So congratulations to whoever the girl is that actually won the girls' title. But this is disgusting. It really is. He puts on the makeup because, he's a girl. So he puts on lots of lipstick and makeup. And if you look at the other competitors, they didn't put on makeup before the track meet. I don't think it's a normal routine for girls.
They don't have to cover up Adam's apples and 5 o'clock shadows.
And he can't cover up his muscles because he is pretty fit. And of course, he went out there. It's California, so they're ignoring Trump's executive order and allowing boys to steal trophies. I love when people say it's only a couple of boys. It's only a small minority. Well, tell that to the girls. The girls who lost a state title. There are at least 2 girls out there who should have won a state title in California in track and field. That's a pretty big deal. I'm guessing that would look pretty good on the resume. I'm guessing that might help you get into college. But no, we all must indulge the fantasy, the delusions of one confused boy. You know what their solution was? Did you see this? Their solution was to allow the second place finishers, the girls, to stand on the top of the podium with them. That was their compromise. Yes, he gets the trophy, he gets the title, he gets his name down in the history, in the record books, but you get to stand next to him on the medal stand. What, just absolute clowns. I love this because this helped get Trump elected. It helped Republicans win because it is so insane. Everybody knows it's wrong. It's a 90-10 issue. Even Democrats know this is wrong. They know this is unfair, but they can't let it go because the trans mob is powerful. They are intimidating, and Democrats will not let this go. I think they're going to stick with it. They're going to continue to double down until 2026 and maybe 2028, and it will continue to be a winning issue for Republicans or sane people. But AB, everyone always wonders this. I always tweet about it, say, dad must be so proud when they show a boy beating up a girl in sports or in boxing or in softball like we showed you last week. Well, it's continuing in blue states like Minnesota and Maine and California. And the media continues to play along and pretend he's a girl and the whole deal like it's 5 years ago. They haven't got the memo that we're all done with this now. We're done in most of the country. So the California TV station sits down with mom, and she's proud. Of course, dad's nowhere to be seen. Usually when you see this kind of story, there is no dad. He's not around. If he is around, he's, a little shrinking violet hiding in the corner, full of shame, but he plays along with the fantasy because he's weak and he's been bullied by his wife and his son. But here's mom explaining why she supports her son going out there and beating girls on the in track and field in California. Go ahead.
Nervous right now, state finals, back here again. Just trying not to get in my head and just relax, but it's a little harder this year.
A.B. Hernandez opening up for the first time about her ongoing participation as a trans athlete in a high school girls sports competition. It's generated strong criticism, including from President Trump, who threatened to cut state funding if they, quote, illegally allow men to play in women's sports. This was the girls' triple jump varsity competition on Friday, held at Buchanan High School in Clovis, where Hernandez took the top spot. A few hours earlier, the high school teenager competed in the girls' high jump and long jump varsity, where she also ranked first place and qualified her to Saturday's events.
When you see how happy this kid is being herself, the first time I saw her come out dressed as a girl where she didn't have to hide it from me, I saw it in her face. So I was like, this is it. This is what she wants. I'm going to support it.
Behind AB's every move is her mother, Nereida, who has been watching from the crowd and protecting her 16-year-old daughter from nearby protesters, both on the ground and in the sky.
I'm not losing my child because of my stubbornness and for me being closed-minded. I rather embrace our times together, even if it's been this difficult, than going to a cemetery and crying because I couldn't accept something.
Oh, shut up. I'm so done with this. So we have to allow a boy to steal state titles from girls. We have to allow a boy to defeat them and take the top prize, because if we don't, he'll kill himself. So if we don't let him play against the girls, this boy who, as you just saw if you're watching the video, is a boy and is really good at this sport and is dominating girls. If we don't indulge him, if we don't allow this to happen, he'll kill himself. That is just, it's just so cheap and cynical and ridiculous. That's what his mom wants you to believe. No one's stopping him from dressing like a girl and pretending he's a girl and changing his name. No one's stopping him. We just don't want him beating up on girls. It's not fair. And everyone knows it. It's absurd at every level that we allow boys to participate in girls' sports. And she thinks it's wonderful because it makes him happy. That's what it's all about, making one person happy. The hell with the hundreds of girls who have to compete against him and lose to him because it's not a level playing field. They don't matter. They can't. Lots of people say this every time we talk about it or I tweet about it. They say the girls shouldn't participate. They should walk away. That would be good. I would support them. I certainly do support them when they walk away, when they protest. But they're kids. They're 16, 17-year-old girls. They don't want to be, political activists. They don't want to be in the firestorm. They just want to compete on a level playing field. And they're being pressured, obviously, in California, of course, by teachers and coaches and parents to, indulge this kid's delusions. Yes, you got to play along with his delusions. And they don't care whether it makes them unhappy as long as it makes him happy. Of course it's going to make him happy. Everyone's happy when they win a state title, when they get a big trophy. Of course the kid's going to be happy, but that's not why we play sports. I mean, again, it's like if the kid played Little League and identified as a 10-year-old and started cranking home runs. Oh, it makes him happy. So that's what really matters. It makes him happy. That's not why we play sports. That's not why we have sports. That's not why there's a separate category for girls so that a boy can put on makeup and go out there and kick their asses. This woman should be ashamed of herself. Again, this kid's confused. He's a victim. He's been told by counselors and doctors and teachers and parents, you were born in the wrong body. So just, change your name, put on some makeup and let's go. That's not how it works. You're not a girl. It's not fair when you compete against girls. He's been sold a lie by his mother. She's an awful person, an awful mother. That really is disgusting. Yeah, you got to let him take the trophies. You got to let him break the records or I'll have to go to the cemetery, she says, to visit him. By the way, on a related note, this is amazing. Do you remember Amain Khalif? Ironhead, do you remember Amain Khalif? He won gold. He won an Olympic gold medal in boxing by beating the crap out of, I think it was 5 different women. I mean, he beat the shit out of them. We watched it. Track is one thing, softball and volleyball, that's bad. But boxing, the world watched as a man beat the crap out of a succession of women and took the gold, an Olympic gold medal. And we were supposed to cheer. We all knew he was a man. Everyone knew he was a man. And now it's been confirmed. This is according to the UK Telegraph. Emain Khalif's sex test results from the 2023 World Championships have been published for the first time with a medical report appearing to indicate the boxer is biologically male. So I think it's the World Boxing Council or World Boxing Body is now banning Amain Khalif from participating because Amain Khalif is a man, as we all knew. But he gets to keep his gold medal. The women who were supposed to win the gold medal got screwed because people were such cowards that they allowed him to participate in the Olympics. They allowed him to punch women in the face. And we stood back and said, well, he says he's a girl. Let's just watch as these women bleed from the face. One of them, remember we played the video where she just gave up? He was pounding her face and she just threw up her arms and said, I can't do this. And the Olympic, there he is. Yeah, gee, what do you think? You think that's a girl? Do you think we should give him the Olympic gold? I mean, this is just madness. And I think it's going to end eventually, but it hasn't ended yet. I mean, good for the World Boxing governing body for calling us out and protecting women. But it is amazing. The women who claim to be champions of women, Democrats, Congress people, governors, mayors, support that. They supported this man beating the bejesus out of women and stealing their gold medal. Well, at least it's going to end with that guy. There was 2 men, right? 2 men won Olympic gold just last year. If they won, well, it's obviously madness, and it's going to end. But speaking of madness, Tampon Tim is running. Yes, he's running for president. I know this because he went last week to South Carolina to participate in James Clyburn's fish fry. It's some big public event that you have to go to get the blessing of Clyburn. It's a way to, start your campaign. He's the governor of Minnesota still, which is hard to believe that people in Minnesota vote for this absolute buffoon. But he's on the campaign trail already. He is running. He's going to be on the debate stage up there with Jasmine Crockett and AOC and maybe Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom. But he has decided that the Democrats need a new strategy. They have to be meaner to Donald Trump. That's the solution. Listen to this absolute clown over the weekend. Check it out.
Called out on this because I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator. It's because he is. It's because he is. Oh, the governor's being mean and the governor's speaking out on that. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce. Because we have to ferociously push back on this. And again, I'll speak to my teacher colleagues in here. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully, to watch this bully and to stop it. And when it's a child, you talk to them and you tell them why bullying's wrong. But when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the shit out of him back. You push back.
They need to be meaner, he said to Donald Trump. Can we just quickly review what they did to Donald Trump? They shot him in the ear. They charged him with 94 felonies. They kept him in court all summer long. They raided his home. They tried to bankrupt him in New York. That wasn't mean enough for Tampon. He wants them to get meaner. This is bad news for Democrats. If you're one of the Democrat, overlords in the background, if you're Barack Obama or David Axelrod or any of these guys, your watchers say, we can't stop him. He's going to run. He is going to campaign. He's going to make speeches. He's going to run. And the country has already rejected him. And every time he speaks, we see what just a disgrace he is. But I encourage it. All right, quick update on Lorenzo Lopez Alcaria, an illegal alien in the country, illegally protected in Massachusetts, given sanctuary in Massachusetts. He's in court right now. 5 counts of rape of a child. The mother of the girl, she's 8 years old, and daddy blindfolded her, allegedly, and raped her. The mother testified through an interpreter, quote, I know it was wrong, but he is her daddy. That's the mother in court today with this illegal alien. So I'm waiting for Maura Healey to chime in, maybe Ayanna Pressley, Liz Warren, to say he has rights. He needs due process. He was just looking for a better life. He's just raping the 8-year-olds that Americans don't want to rape. God, that is disgusting. Do we have time to do Bono and Joe Rogan? This is incredible. This is incredible. As we mentioned last week, Elon Musk, he did his best. That's what he said. I did my best on Twitter when he stepped down after his role as a temporary government employee after uncovering billions in waste, fraud, and abuse, in theft, as he uncovered a money laundering ring where Democrats allegedly were sending money overseas, but most of it stayed in D.C. because they were stealing it. Doge, what Doge did, it was great. It was historic. It was epic. And Bono, lead singer of U2, goes on with Joe Rogan and claims people are dying. He says, I think the number is 300,000 people have died because we have uncovered all this waste, fraud, in the federal government. That's what they're going with. That Elon Musk is killing people, killing children in Mogadishu because, we don't want to send money to these NGOs, which are stealing most of it. But check out this moron. I'm telling you, people like him, people like Bono should just sing and smile and enjoy their millions or billions. He steps into it with Rogan, and Rogan calls him out, and Musk responds too. But listen to U2's lead singer talk about all the people who Musk is killing.
Just recent report. It's not proven, but the surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died from just this cut off, this hard cut of USAID. So there's food rotting in boats, in warehouses. There is this will fuck you off. You will not be happy. No American will, but there is, I think it's 50,000 tons of food that are stored in Djibouti, South Africa, Dubai, and wait for it, Houston, Texas. And that is rotting rather than going to Gaza, rather than going to Sudan, because the people who know the codes or for the warehouse are fired. They're gone. And so this, I don't know, what do you think? What is that? That's not America, is it?
Well, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
Right. This is the problem. The problem is, for sure, there have been a lot of organizations that do tremendous good all throughout the world. Also, for sure, it was a money laundering operation. For sure, there was no oversight. For sure, billions of dollars are missing. In fact, trillions that are unaccounted for, that were sent off into various, they don't even know where because there's no receipts. The way Elon Musk described it, he said if any of this was done by a public company, the company would be delisted and the executives would be in prison. But in the United States, this is standard. When Biden left office, when it was clear that Trump won, in the 73 days, they spent $93 billion from the Department of Energy on just radical loans, just throwing money into places.
Yes.
And there's no oversight, no receipts. Like the whole thing there's a lot of fraud.
Yes, that's why it existed. USAID existed for fraud, for theft. We know that. We know most of the money never left D.C. And this clown, I mean, is there a better example of someone who just operates on emotion, doesn't really have any grasp of the facts? Just someone told them, 300,000 people have died because someone doesn't want to go in the warehouse, get the food and give it to people. And so that's Elon Musk's fault. Well, Musk, who's never holds back, but he's kind of been unshackled. He's done in DC for now. He just responded by calling Bono a retard. But Rogan is so right. It's a money laundering scheme. We know it. It's been exposed. We're not buying this anymore. Sorry, Bono. Sorry, we're not buying the lies anymore. And by the way, Bono's worth like $1 billion. Why doesn't he go and feed the people of South Sudan? Maybe you'll win a Nobel Prize. Probably already won one. But, all right, that will do it. But I just want a quick update that I'm really shocked at this. The Boston Red Sox have not tweeted a rainbow flag. Yes, I just checked their account. Nothing from the Boston Red Sox, the single wokest team in professional sports, the team with the biggest, that bragged that they had the biggest Black Lives Matter sign during, Black Lives Matter summer, have tweeted nothing. That's how you know we're done with this. The Patriots and the Celtics, they tweeted out the rainbow flag and said, let's all celebrate someone's sexuality, but not the Red Sox. That's how you know we are done with this. It is now Veterans Awareness Month. Let's hope that catches on. But that will do it for today, this crazy Monday. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Thank you. Oh my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you. Thank you
Wow.
all. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many.